All right, everybody, we're back with another division preview. This time we have the Ming division, and we'll just go ahead and hop right into it. In fourth place, we both have Cash in My Belichick. And Kimish, I'll let you go ahead and start.
Yeah, so we put a poll up. Most people think Curly Lamborghini is actually going to finish dead last in this division. Me and you are going against the public. We're going with Cash in My Belichick's. And here's another guy that joined, took over for Aldemus Prime, who was a bit inactive. And because of that, obviously, you took over a bit of a shit pile. And that's what happens when you have an inactive owner. Just like Vlad Jr. crew in the Pandian, I got Cash in My Belichick's going 1-12. I think it's going to be a tough year for him. When I look at the draft grade, I'm going to give him now a C. And a lot of this is just due to things that have happened since then. So you know how I feel about Garrett Wilson. I think that was an iffy pick before Olave, Jameson Williams, even Alec Pierce to some degree. And then Zamir White in round 2, in hindsight, before Brian Robinson. Now looks like that could be a huge mistake, especially since Zamir White had 5 carries for only 8 yards yesterday. So his Hall of Fame game performance has dwindled since the last 2 games. So Cash My Belichick's 1-12. That's all I got to say.
I actually have him 0-13, and I actually have him winning Flex Week 14 just because I have him playing Vlad Jr. crew in Flex Week 14 just because they're both 0-13, and I have him winning that game. But I, as you know, I think Garrett Wilson going at 105 is a steal. I like Zamir White. I think it's a good pick, but not before Brian Robinson. I agree with you there. I think Zamir White next year could be a potential RB1 over for the Raiders there, but not before Brian Robinson. That's a horrible pick. I mean, there's nothing else more I can really say here besides 0-13. And next up, we have Curly Lamborghini finishing third. And I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, another dumpster fire team here. Another guy that decided to go all in and sell. And what I get it, right? If your team sucks, you're going nowhere. Time to rebuild. I have him doing much better than Cash in My Belichick's, though. I got him going 4-9. I think his team is still good enough to squeeze out a couple of wins, to be honest. When I look at the draft grade, again, I'm going to give him a C- here. A big part of that, of course, is Christian Watson. So he's a Packers fan. But again, even when we did the LOD draft, we heard the reports of Christian Watson, and he still went with them in round 1 at 108 before James Cook, before George Pickens, before Dotson. Thought that was a huge mistake. He did do much better, though, later in the draft, going Brian Robinson in round 2, which looks brilliant now. And I also love Isaiah Likely in round 4.
I also gave him a C-, but that's just because you take Christian Watson at, I believe it was, where is it at 108, more versus those other players that could probably help this team 100% better. Cook went at 109, even though I'm not a James Cook fan. He went at 109, which would have definitely helped this team. As you said, Christian Watson, even before we draft, there was rumors that Dobbs was just so much better than Christian Watson. I mean, everybody jumped on that hype. I mean, to me, Christian Watson is just not that good of a player in general. I have him going 3-10. So you have 4-9, 3-10. I think we're both on the same page there, pretty much. And let's be honest, him and Cash My Belichick are nowhere near the 2 best teams in that division. And honestly, to get to the best 2 teams in that division, they need a dumpster fire because those 2 teams are just stacked. Which we'll talk about next. Next up, we both have Bills Mafia here at second place, and I'll just go ahead and jump in. And I have Bills Mafia going 9-4. I think he was the talk of the town. I think he was probably the best team, one of the best. I guess even last year, when your brother was running the team before Deuce took over. I mean, he won last year. Like, you can never count out Bills Mafia trying to make a trade, but I think your Deuce Bombers, who we haven't talked about, has gotten so much better that he actually goes from 10-2 or 11-2 to 9-4. And looking at his draft grades, what I have for him real quick, I have a B+. The only pick that I would probably redo if I was him is probably Jelani Woods. But other than that, you can't really nitpick him. He didn't have that many picks in the first couple rounds, and I think that kind of hurt him. But B plus. That's what I gave him. Nothing too bad there.
Yeah, so last year's champion, and he has a championship-like roster again. I got him going 10-3. So obviously, great record to finish second place in that division. He's got the Josh Allen, Gabe Davis double stack on his team. That's also, that's going to give him a lot of points each week. I think the weakness is Mike Gesicki and Noah Fant at tight end. Both of these guys played late in their latest preseason game. Gesicki doesn't look like he's really a big part of that Miami offense this year. I think that's going to cause him some problems. In terms of the draft grade, I just gave him a C plus. And the reason being is because my notes here say he had no real picks. So he didn't really pick anyone of significance. But that's clear why, because he was a champion last year. So he probably sold most of those picks to become the champion.
For sure. And as I previously said, we both have Deuce Bombers. I actually don't know what his actual team name is in LOD, but we have Ryan and Deuce Bombers both winning here. So that looks like 2 division titles in 2 different leagues for Deuce Bombers. But let's be honest, this team is built by Brian. Like, honestly, if I was Brian, if I left any league, it wouldn't have been LOD. His team was just so stacked. I mean, honestly, last year I think I had Brian predicted to win. Brian had a great team last year, the year before that, and Deuce just has added to it. I think he took George Pickens at 110. Let me actually just verify my notes real quick. George Pickens at 110. He only had 2 picks, and he doesn't have a first, second, or third next year. But when you have a stacked roster, does it even matter? That's the question.
Yeah, I gave him a draft grade of an A for the George Pickens pick as well. I thought trading up at 110 with Robert and Illuminati made a lot of sense there. I got him going 11-2, so 1 game better than Bills Mafia to win the division. You're right. I agree with you. Brian should have never left this league. I thought he had a great team, but Deuce did make it better. He added J.K. Dobbins. He added Jalen Hurts as the second quarterback. And that was the big weakness for Brian all year last year, is he couldn't find that second quarterback. Deuce said, screw it. I'll trade all my picks away, get that second quarterback, add another beast to the running back room. And I think that Deuce Bombers could have a very, very, very successful year in the LOC format this year with the 2 teams he's put together.
Yeah, I have Deuce battling out for first overall. I have him losing flex week 14 for that place, so he does finish second in my book. And Bills Mafia finishes 5th going into the playoffs.